Hi guys, welcome to the session on Coffee with Prabh, and today we have a special guest, Mr. Sarang. Sarang lead the offense security operations across the high-stake casino and hospitality network, where downtime is never an option. From planning and adversaries, emulation campaigns to mapping a finding back to the MITRE attack framework, he turned the red intel into fixes the blue team can deploy overnight. He is also OSCP certified, along with that CREST certifications, and he does not need an introduction. He is basically known for his offensive and pen testing skills across the verticals of the offense security. And when it comes to the Sarang has also built the red team programs that span everything across from window domains to the devices on the gaming floor. When he's not breaking things for a living, but he mentor new testers and how to report findings, and business will actually act on it. So let's welcome Mr. Sarang, and we'll have a discussion today on deep dive into the red teaming. Hi Sarang, how are you?
I'm good, Prabh. Thank you for the super crisp introduction.
No, Sarang, you deserve that. Actually, recently only, Sarang, I was checking your profiles and the kind of thoughts you're sharing on offense security.
Mhm,
It basically quite fascinating, and that's the reason, let me ping you and thank you. I was not expecting as that the
mhm.
response as early and possible. I thought this guy is a big shot. Having a lot of things on the plate, taking care of the lot of things. The offense security is something work 24/7. So
Yeah, correct.
thanks for this kind gesture and taking out the time for this particular session. I'm sure your thoughts, your wisdoms, your knowledge, your expertise will have a great insight for the aspiring people who making a career in red teaming and offense security.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll share what I have, no problem. And if
Thanks.
it helps, sure. And I know that your network is quite wide. A lot of people follow you, so I'm sure it's gonna help at least, some of the people from your network, if not all.
Thanks, Sarang. It's because of you guys only, because today, wherever I'm doing things and all that, it's because of you guys. I'm getting a lot of learning from you. That's why, today your first student is basically Prabh Nair. So I'm going to make a lot of notes for me also. So I will be your first student who I'm going to make a lot of notes. So please bear with me with my questions and all that.
No problem.
Okay. So, Sarang, just need to understand one important thing. We there's a lot of buzzword around, uh, red teaming and all that. So, can you help me out with the what is red teaming and how it's exactly different from penetration testings and all that?
Okay, so basically, if I want to explain something in very simple language, pen test is something, you define the scope and you have a certain time period, and then within that time period, you have to achieve that objective.
Hmm.
Pen test, somehow it might be white box as well, depending on, you know, your client or your in-house pen testing, CISO or your client, what's his objective. So it's time bounded mostly. And then you have your targets. You probably might have credentials and some information about your target. And then you finish your testing within that, and then you share the report. In simple words, that's pen testing. Whereas red teaming, you got one mission, one target, by hook or crook, get into it. For example, CISO tells you break into AD, sit in a coffee shop, I don't know, find some external attack vectors, send email, phishing, I don't care. But as soon as you hit that target, it might be in one day, it might take 1 week, it might take 1 month. So there is no time frame over there. So that's
Okay.
basically uh, the simple form of difference, between red team and pen testing. So
Okay.
it's time bounded, and this red teaming is not time bounded. But of course, when you talk about red teaming in internal security, or you're working with the client, of course there is a time, but ideally it works, or it looks like that.
Okay. So, Sarang, when you're talking about the penetration testing and all that, initially we used to have a lot of buzzword around ethical hacking, then
Hmm.
OSCP, pen testing, and all that. Suddenly, this word, red teaming, I don't know, might be I'm wrong, but this is something a word I can see the pattern in last 10 years. It
Hmm.
was not before that. We used to have word only pen testing or SOC and all that. SOC also the word came now. But what was the reason of introducing this word? What was the reason of introducing this initiative about red teaming? We are simply
I
doing pen
think
testing and all that and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think red teaming, as far as I know, or as far as I've read around several articles, I think pen testing was more, um, focused on particular target, meaning you have, couple of IPs. Everybody's aware, like, okay, you're gonna, test these particular IPs, applications, whatnot. It is. Uh, and it was, something going on from quite a long time, a traditional one. Whereas red teaming is something you basically pick a specific target, and then you just make sure your goal is to hack that. And basically, before, I mean, in that particular journey or transaction, even if you have to hop onto certain devices, but your objective will only complete when you actually achieve, or basically hack that particular target. So I think this is more of like a sniper mode, where you just target some certain thing, and then you will only stop when you achieve that. Whereas pen testing is, okay, how many kills you had at the end of the day, and then you
Okay.
pass the report to that. So something like that. So I think,
Okay.
from what I believe, red teaming gives you more targeted approach, whereas pen testing is like, if I put it this way, like if CISO says, "Oh, I want to find something around Active Directory," okay, let's do a red teaming. Let's find a real-time hacker. What if he enters, your organization? What controls can be, what controls are really working, and what controls basically are not working. So that gives you a reality check when you do a red teaming. Whereas
Hmm.
pen testing is more for auditing purpose, compliance purpose, and all those stuff.
Is
If
it is
I
it possible? Can you give one example to compare both? It will be great.
Okay, so every year, let's say we have audits, and where the auditor comes and he says, "Okay, guys, tell me, you have 10 business critical applications. Have you done the pen testing?" And this is usually the common questions comes from auditor, and we say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we have done the pen testing, everything," and we share the report. So that is asked for, compliance or auditing purposes.
Hmm.
Whereas none of the auditor will come to me and say, this is a requirement that, hey, you have to do red teaming, or you have to do, certain things. So um, pen testing, like I said, it's more inclined towards compliance, regulatory, stuff, and all those stuff. It's a need. You have to do it. Whereas red teaming is more for those who really want to test their defense control as well. Because what
Okay.
if a real-time scenario happens? What if real hacker tries to target your organization and assets? Where do you stand?
Hmm.
That's what the major difference is.
Okay. And
Mhm.
and when it comes to the perspective of business, like example, I want to convey my management that we want to conduct the red team, or let's say example, give us a business a reason, the company pay for red teaming. So what problem does it really solve?
Okay, so if we basically do red teaming, that will basically tell you all the hops in the journey that are vulnerable,
Hmm.
how many times your defense tools or mechanisms got activated, got triggered. It will also help you to tell your management how active is my blue team when it comes to
Okay.
people, right? And basically, all my endpoint, EDRs and all those devices, how good they are configured, or there any something's missing or misconfigured. Now let's say if you also have MSSP partners in your organization, you can also tell how active or how proactive these guys are, and the response time, because it's an actual simulation that's happening. So
Hmm.
this is what the input that you can the output that basically you get from running a red team exercise. And
Okay.
yeah, and again, like pen testing is super traditional. You just do it, one application in scope, you pen test that, same OS top 10 or some network checks, bam,
Hmm.
done, share report, send it to your IT team, fix it, done. Whereas this includes a lot of different teams as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the red teaming, so if I want to conduct the red teaming, so we say in pen testing, the step one is proposal, then information gathering, then scanning, then gaining
Hmm.
access, then maintaining access, which is a very
Hmm.
common term.
Yeah.
So if I talk about the red teaming, how do
Hmm.
we how do we scope the red teaming test in a live environment?
Yeah. So basically, scoping is like, you need to first, get from your CISO like what he wants us to test. which
Hmm.
particular control he wants us to test.
Hmm.
And then, or if he wants me to actually, let's say if it's a APT based or industry based.
Hmm.
So once we get the objective from your CISO, CIO, like, okay, this is the control I want to test, or this is the APT group. I want to see if these groups usually, which are usually active in our industry, uh, if they really attack or target us, where do we stand? Then once you get the input from your CISO or CIO, that's when you start scoping up and say, okay, so if your goal is like, okay, I want to imitate APT 123, whatever, or APT 27, whichever APT it is, I will go to the MITRE. I will find out all their IOCs, IOAs. I will find out, okay, these guys are using, 10 different techniques, tactics, procedures, whatever. I will map it back. Okay, what among, what technologies, I'm using among those. And then I will start using those TTPs that are used by that APT group and start to push it, assuming APT replication is the scope, right? APT simulation is the scope, right? Uh, Now, second scenario is CISO might say, usually this is very common. I want to test my Active Directory. I mean, I want you to go and get the domain admin. Like, this
It's a
is the
single
most
point of
common.
access.
Yeah,
Yeah, single
correct.
point of access. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, it's like pretty common and pretty straightforward. All you need, sometimes, I mean, especially when you do red teaming in real world scenario, especially in hospitality or gambling industry, due to you need to make sure nothing goes down. Availability should be 100%, not even
Topmost priority.
99.9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we have
not
seen in
even.
the last year example of,
Yeah,
I think 2 years back, the attack which has happened in US, where the
correct.
hackers has attacked the
MGM.
casino network, MGM. Yeah. You can see
Yeah,
live
correct.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, probably they suffer loss of probably 100 million US dollars, and
Yeah.
that's like a
Yeah.
huge amount. And when that happened, we were active here, and then we like, okay, jump on the dark web. I don't know what forums, whatnot, get IOCs, what you get, block, 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 block.
Sarang is the most important person on that particular week. Where
Yeah.
is Sarang?
So that time, and then of course, our CISOs that time, they reach out to, different casino CISO, and then like, okay, guys, my team has these IOCs, go and block it. It might hit you. And then of course we do the knowledge sharing and transferring. So yeah, this happens. And there was a time when I used to also handle the threat intel team. Yeah. And then this is something I would like to, tell to your audience as well. Combination of threat intel and red teaming is like a dead ass combination.
Okay. Any
Because
example? Yeah.
example
Okay.
is, so basically an example is, um if you are a red teamer, what test cases, TTPs, a lot of APT groups, exploits, and you have this knowledge, and you are up to date when it comes to any new exploits, 0 days, whatnot. That knowledge helps you to actually correlate everything to MITRE and everything, and you can have a better plan of how I can use that particular knowledge and block IOCs, IOAs within my organization. But and then if I change sites, I can what I can do is I can make an industry specific, let's say, a threat actor list. And once I make an industry specific threat actor list, there are many categories. So let's say
Hmm.
industry specific, and then technology specific, and create a matrix of this, and whatever applies to your industry, organization, geolocation, and everything, you chalk out all those IOCs and IOAs, map it back to the original, to which APT group it belongs to, update your list and follow those APT groups and make sure you keep up to date.
Okay.
And this data can be, and then the data that comes from red team can also be passed to them. So if I have new exploit, the threat intel team does not need to wait until somebody exploits. Red team can say, hey, this is an exploit. This is the hash. This is the IP, bad URL, everything. C2, go block it. No need to wait. Confirmed. We tried it in our organization. It works. Go block it. Make copy IT. Hey, IT, this is something that you need to fix. Go back and fix it. Whereas from the threat intel data, I can take that data and I can run those test cases back in my organization to make sure if the threat intel team says, okay, I have blocked this 100 IOCs, then I will basically go and test those TTPs or test those IOCs, IOAs, and see what exactly is being detected and blocked and whatnot. So this combination of threat intel and red team, I think, is really important, which I'm not sure, I haven't heard or seen that much, because yeah, those two are like threat intel usually falls under SOC team, and red team and pen testing team, like they are, one group like that. So I think with these combinations and the knowledge that each other share, I think if you utilize that of red teaming can be really on point, and you will achieve very precise results.
Okay. And but we say always, the sometime what happened, there is always a conflict happens between the red team and blue team in
Hmm.
terms of false positive and all that. The red teamer has said this is something we have exploited, boom, 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 and
Hmm.
blue team say no, no, this is already flagged and all that. And
Hmm.
sometime the reported vulnerability or reported exploits, sometimes blue team don't take it
Hmm.
for their action plan. I'm sure you have also seen that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how you handle that particular things? If you have any tips to share.
So usually, in order to avoid this, the red team blue team fight, uh, it's for a red teamer. Of course, the easiest way to go is just bring a POC, right? Hey,
Hmm.
I have exploited this particular target. Tell me your detection. Give me all the timestamps with all the event logs and everything. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
If they are able to provide, then say why you didn't block or contain my stuff. You ask them back their questions,
Hmm.
what does the SOC manager is supposed to ask their team. As a red team manager, you ask the SOC manager the same questions, and then if he's able to answer those, and if he makes sure that he check the boxes, I don't think there is a conflict for that point. But if he cannot, he knows that that's his mistake and he has to go back and fix it. It might be people, it might be process, it might be technology, and that's the easy way. So you don't need to fight. You just ask. You just say, "I'm doing my job. Answer me these three questions so I can compile it in my report." Thank you.
Because red team and blue team relation is just like a in-laws and person.
Correct. Correct.
They always say,
Correct.
okay, this is always correct and this is not correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always a crisis. That's the
Yeah.
reason I
Correct.
asked this question. So Sarang, if we talk about the process flow of
Mm-hmm.
how we start red teaming, if you can
Mm-hmm.
basically give one use case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like we said, this is the steps and all that. So do you have any use case which you can share with us?
Um,
How we start a red teaming for any asset?
I mean, it depends on, let's say, your organization, your industry, and what's your objective. What's objective of your CISO or
Okay, let's take
CIO?
example. We have a AD. We
Yeah.
have a AD. We want
Mm-hmm.
to do the red teaming. So what is the process? Okay, CISO has given you the
Mm-hmm.
information that we need to do the red teaming.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first step? Like how we start?
Okay, so let's say now, usually, in organizations, when you do red teaming, I mean, assuming that we have to have high level of availability, you consider an assume breach scenario where
Hmm.
you can have a PC or a workstation, domain connected workstation, with bare minimum rights that a common user would get, like no admin rights or nothing, and all antivirus, everything up to date.
Hmm.
So from there, basically, you start your engagement, because usually whenever any attacker would start, ideally, I believe there are not many systems in the organization that have local admin rights or admin rights. It's pretty
Agree.
much only the system admins or network admins that do have.
Hmm.
So that's in that case scenario, you get the workstation, you install all your utilities that you want to install. So from there, I think the first thing which you can do is you can try to get all the users from that system. Like you can
Hmm.
connect back to the AD, and then Active Directory domains user. You don't have to always use something very flashy or heavy tool.
Fancy
Sometimes,
words here.
yeah, yeah,
Fancy
yeah,
tools here.
fancy tools, and then you can simply use your Windows features to actually get or dump all the information. And this also basically helps to avoid any kind of triggers that blue team might jump into picture, right? So you get list of all the users, I think. And then one of the traditional ways, uh, is to send some kind of phishing emails, right? So now that phishing email, I know that if you try to, get a malicious document with some macros in it and all that stuff, EDR likely to detect. So in that case, what somehow you can try to do is just create an NC, I mean, a reverse back connection, put it in your
Hmm.
email, right?
Hmm.
Attach it in your email, send it across. Of course, you do some base 64 encoding or whatnot, some kind of encoding, and you send it back. Usually it passes through because you're sending something from internal email to internal user. If they click, you get a reverse session. And then, that's an easy win for us. And then you go and, hop in. Let's say you target network admin, system admin from those groups, right? So that's part one. First move. Second move, let's say if this they take it very seriously, everything is blocked, and system admin, network admin understand this basic, baseline security as well. Then the next step start is like you go and try to run Bloodhound. Now Bloodhound, it Node.js and all, it may have some kind of you might require some kind of admin rights and all. But sometimes there is a utility called as Adilanche. So if you run that, it's kind of portable. If you run that, it gives you like um, the same results as Bloodhound, and then you can query it directly. So you have, you can skip, installing those
Hmm.
Neo.j utilities and backend and all those stuff.
Hmm.
So you can use that utility, get the blueprint or, map your AD. And then from there, of course, you see what's the weakest target and you try to attack. So these are kind of the most common and easy wins when it comes to targeting AD. So here, what we basically are trying to do is we are using Windows features. We are using utilities that does not necessarily require admin rights. So you can download and fire up that utility. You're also making sure that it's less noise. You are still in stealth mode, and then from there, depending on what results you see on your Bloodhound, you use other various tools, techniques. Maybe you find some of those ED1 2 3, depending on what level of attack you have, and then define based on that you craft your test case and attack. Most of these scripts from the AD power view and power up and all those things, these of course do come handy as well. PowerShell really comes handy, but nowadays the detection rules around PowerShell are quite aggressive
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
So one simple way to actually evade those is like, let's say you download some script from GitHub. Uh, and me being, I am not very good programmer, right? But if you just think a little bit smartly, uh, when Mimikatz, like 5 years ago, when I run Mimikatz, it was still not detected by many of EDRs, but it was still kind of popular. The hey Mimikatz, you can dump hash and all that.
Hmm.
Now I want to bypass even SCP. As soon as I downloaded SCP, detected Mimikatz. Now, okay, what to do? I don't know how to write everything. If I know how to write, I would have had my version of Mimikatz there.
Yeah.
So basically, then I said, okay, what to do? We pick a function. We pick all the um, you know, uh, characters, functions, calls, and we just modify. So if they say like, okay, call function name XYZ, we change it to ABC.
Hmm.
If it says like in that script, if it says, okay, now the command is something PowerShell to download a script from a third party zone, we hosted that script on our server, and we encode that command and call the script from our server. So again, second detection is also gone. We change all the functions, the third detection is also gone. And then after doing all this script, and when we rewrote or rephrased that script, it worked. And we were able to run Mimikatz. And again, once you are able to run Mimikatz in there, it's almost the time to say, okay, it's kind of game over, because with Mimikatz, it's like uh, the end game script that you can run, and you can pretty much do everything, dump any credentials you want.
Okay.
So
And that
so
was an
these
excellent insight
Mhm.
you started talking about. Now, like, no, we have a layer of injections and all that, and then we do the mimicat. So I think I really like that approach because
Yeah.
when we go for the APTs and all that, some of the
Hmm.
people what they do, they simply rely on the known tools, and based on that they do that. But the biggest mistake happen is because modern EDRs are able to detect such kind of a patterns,
Correct.
and I really like that inside. That's why I noted on, because that's
Yeah.
something is a very good point you said about covering up the layers and
Yeah.
then
Correct.
perform the mimicat.
Correct. So you don't really need to always go out of the box and do these things. Sometimes, I mean, the solution is right in front of you. You just need to tweak around. And again, like one of the again classic example when you try to evade any script or sorry, evade
Hmm.
any antivirus or
Antivirus,
EDRs.
yeah.
Uh, you can just create your own test machine, and after you create your own test machines in a VM or whatever, you install that agent of antivirus EDR, whatever it is. Try to change whatever you know. So if I know functions, because that's what I learned in my school, I don't know anything else after that. And then I try to change that. I know, okay, this is a PowerShell command. I know how to rewrite this command to something else, but it will act the same. So I change that
Hmm.
and try to do this and run it in your lab. And you will come to know when it triggers and when it not. So it's a very easy way. And then once you know, okay, this is my final script, no triggers, bam, you run it in your organization. Because
Excellent.
if you try to run it within your organization PC, of course, you don't want to run something that you don't know. And then also at the same time, you don't want to give any hints to blue team, because
True.
if they get one alert, they know what
Go on.
I'm doing. Yeah. So do it on a test lab. You can easily find some freewares, you can download antivirus, blah blah blah. Do it. That's easy way to do it without
Okay,
any
and
stealth
and
mode.
but if I say the three tips you want to give to the people,
Mhm.
to evade the EDR or
Uh-huh.
antivirus, apart from that, do you have any suggestions?
I think encoding works.
Okay, good.
Encoding works, right? That's number
Mhm.
one. Number two, like I said, you change the function names, let's say, or change the command which is inside, like the PowerShell command or certain command. Uh,
Hmm.
Try to change it. If it doesn't change, maybe try to use the same command but encode it, or maybe double encode it. Use base64, whatever. Try
Hmm.
to encode that. I think that's number two. Number three is find something that is not downloaded many times on internet.
Free exam dumps.
Yes.
Unlock your dream. Click on this link. Change your future.
Yeah. I mean, that's the third. Because I like Red Team, your goal is to just get that target down. So you can use that, right? You can
Hmm.
do that. But of course, like always, like I say, don't just blindly download. I will tell to like even I tell to my team, guys, don't just download something from GitHub just because it's running. Make sure you're not giving your system's backdoor connection back to the
There's no
attacker.
free
So
lunch. There is no
yeah,
free
there is
lunch.
exactly that nothing in the world is free. So if it's too good to be true, please double check.
That's true. That I agree
Yeah,
on that part. That's why
yeah.
there's no free lunch. If it's free,
No?
then you are the product. You are
Yeah,
the
correct.
target.
Correct.
And when it comes to this entire approach, after that, how we basically go with the process? Okay, we exploit the AD. We done with this. What is the next step after that, Sarang?
Okay, so basically, once you finish your exercise,
Hmm.
the most important thing during the exercise is as and when you hit 1111 target to reach your final target,
Hmm.
note down all the events timestamp, because that
Hmm.
really helps blue team to actually go and
To
work on
recreate
their.
the event
Yeah,
and suffer
correct.
cyber kill chain also.
Yeah, correct. And then this is something important. Second is try to map it back to MITRE, right? Like what techniques, what TTPs basically you used during your whole red team engagement. That also helps the threat intel plus the CSOC team to improvise their posture, and also to go back to their MSSP partners or blue team in general to go and see why this was not detected, what was missing, and all, right? And then another thing is give a solution, which is, let's say, more on IT side or network team side. Let's say if some certain network devices were not blocking properly, or if some group policies were not triggering properly, give a simple solution. Document that in that, like, okay, I was able to download this Active Directory users and computers update, and nothing blocked me. So
Hmm.
basically, why this is happening? Why don't you, create a group policy so that nobody else can download this?
Hmm.
right? These some sir, I think and then once you document all these things, I think, of course, jump on a call, individually jump on calls with each of the teams that are, responsible for addressing all those issues, and explain them in very simple language. No need to throw any, heavy words on them, because not everybody understands security the way pen
We
testers, red
assume,
team,
yeah.
yeah, we understand. So tell them in very simple language, guys, this is what's missing, and you need to go implement that on your QA first. Make sure nothing breaks. If nothing breaks, implement that on your production. Keep it very simple. Don't give them something high. Go find out this and go do your own research, and just be detailed. And I think once you do that, I think everybody starts to cooperate with you because you're trying to help them.
Exactly.
I think the approach should also somehow, this is something very important, which I personally follow, is don't try to throw somebody under the bus. I mean, everybody's doing their job, right? Nobody does anything on purpose. So don't try to throw anybody under the bus. Rather, sit with them and explain them, okay, guys, it's not just your problem, it's our problem. If this gets hacked, we all go home. So make
Agree.
sure that, okay, you go sit here, tell me, ask me if you need any help, and go fix it. I think that really changes the whole culture and this objective, and it puts everything on a positive note.
And it basically bring the authority also and trust
Yeah,
also, and they will start
yeah, correct,
respecting you. They know you're showing initiative. And Sarang, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you agree on this part also. A good security person is the one who doesn't create fear, uncertainty,
correct,
and doubt.
correct,
Whatever is there, transparent, keep it simple,
correct.
and align with the business goals.
I
Can we say?
100% agree. 100% agree. And uh, like I said, like once you document and you sit with the team, it gives them something, a confidence, like, okay, he's here to help. He's not here
Mhm.
here to throw us under the bus. Don't just send a report and say, "Go, it's your problem, now fix it." Right? Because it's your organization. Something goes wrong, everybody is equally responsible. So I think that's really important to change those culture, right? And then one more important thing is, you can frequently you know do some purple teaming exercises as well, because that's the platform where the trust is built. And
What is purple
also,
team? What is
purple
purple
team
team
is
here?
okay. So purple team is basically, red team guys, blue team guys, we sit together, and this activity is known for, let's say, you create a control group. So how I follow the process is, we create a control group where, let's say, SOC head, red team head, maybe some personnel from IT, um, is as well as there, right? So when you create a group and you start an engagement, you pick up a scenario. Let's say you say, okay, I'm gonna uh, test this 10 TDPs, and let's see who detects. And now when all the heads, the team heads, are aware of activity is going on, every activity you do, you take a pause and brief that activity, and then the blue team manager goes, and he basically checks all his events, logs everything based on the data you share them, timestamps and everything. And until he addresses that, okay, I collected the information, I noted down the issue, and then you next. It's basically a combination of the color red, blue, it's purple. So that's how the purple team name
But
is.
do you think this team is required in the organization? When we talk about red team, they are responsible for offensive and doing the exploitations and all that, and defensive is blue team is basically trying to understand the patterns and block. Then
Yeah, I mean,
why are you doing purple team is required?
necessary. I mean, correct. I mean, just to make sure if I got your question right. So, your question is basically, do we need a purple team in organization?
Yeah, yeah, because it's a
Yeah,
cost.
yeah. You don't necessarily need to have a third team, which is purple team.
Hmm.
Your SOC manager and your red team manager can collab
Hmm.
together,
Okay.
and that can be called as purple team as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why
and
every dispute
yeah,
cannot be settled by the husband wife. We need a
correct,
in-laws.
correct, correct. You don't need in-laws all the time. Otherwise, you lose everything.
So, guys who watching this podcast, make sure you use headphones. We want you to get the dinner on time. We are not responsible for any actions.
Yeah, you lose 50%.
You gain for some knowledge and you're away from the house.
So, so, so yeah, I think that basically builds a lot of trust as well.
Okay.
In our case, I can give you an example,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
please.
So I use this, uh, Caldera C2. It has a lot
Hmm.
of test
Hmm.
cases. And then there is also one
Automations.
called as Purple Ops.
And
If
infection
you're,
monkey also?
yeah, there are many, but Purple
Hmm.
Ops is something that, has good range of test cases as well.
Hmm.
Um, now, and it basically covers all the TTPs,
Hmm.
whichever are present in the MITRE chart.
Hmm.
You can simply, during a purple team exercise, you can simply run those test cases, sit with your blue team, I mean the CSOC manager, and try to, get all the timestamps and everything and results, and let them, technique by technique, let him go and analyze. You just inform the manager. You don't need to inform the team, because then the manager will also, test his team.
Hmm.
Just say, okay, I run test case number one, CTP number one. Can you go and check? He will just test his team as well, because it's like people, process, and the
Technology.
technique, right? Yeah. So basically, he will go and check his. If they say, yeah, we see something, but we are waiting for the L1 team to report, probably he might have to, change his process. If they say, no, we haven't seen anything, we also check the log, we check the Splunk, nothing is there. Okay,
Hmm.
technology. And now if they say like, yeah, we are just drafting an email, but they know like, okay, the severity is critical, then I think that's something people needs to get some more training. Or sometimes it happens like, we done something, it's there in the log sometimes, because of course not all the rules are there in your sim, right? So sometimes it doesn't necessarily trigger an alert, but it's there in the logs and you can see. So as a security professional, if you see a payload example, I mean, just a simple example, scraped alert one, I mean, I don't necessarily need to wait for something to alert. I can understand, okay, somebody is trying to attack this application, web application, and trying
Hmm.
to run a cross-site scripting payload, right? So in that case, I should be like very sharp, or you should have that knowledge to understand, okay, this is somebody's happening. I don't need to wait, and hey, pick up the phone call and do what you need to do. Follow your playbook, follow your process. So yeah, these are the certain things that also helps you to build trust between the blue team and the red team, and also gain confidence, and then you can work in a healthy environment and really fix the issues, rather than just blame game, blame game, blame
Blame
game.
game.
Yeah,
So they're more like a strategist, and you can say they are like more like a strategist who basically understand the mindset of the red team and blue
correct,
team and come with the common thing which is a solution, and it can be a win-win game for both, right? Can we say like that?
correct. that's that's
Okay.
that's what it is, right? That's what it is.
Okay. And following with the question is, how do you set the rules for engagement to avoid outage? Especially in the business like where you are working, critical
Mhm, mhm.
infrastructures and all that.
So yeah,
So
basically,
because one thing is the red team is completely, the biggest threat for the red team is basically availability.
yep,
Sorry, biggest threat for the companies from a red team perspective is availability,
availability.
because
Yeah.
it should not go aggressive. So how do you balance that, Sarang?
Okay, so this is my strategy in our organization. Basically,
Hmm.
I told my team, anything which is QA, go attack like a tiger. Don't
Hmm.
worry what's gonna break, because it's QA.
Hmm.
But if it is something production, because of course, from based on the asset tags, you can identify whether it's a QA server,
Exactly.
or a production. Um, if it's production, go stealth mode. Don't run something. Don't just put a bulk command. Like for example, if they are doing network scan, I said
Hmm.
don't put /16, because there are a lot of legacy devices as well that you
True.
sometimes cannot change, right?
True.
A network part, not everything is .1x. Sometimes it's legacy, and sometimes you can't upgrade everything to the latest technology, right?
True.
So I said one of the classic examples. I mean, I can give this example. Uh, One of my in my previous company, like this guy, he went on the um, actual ELV room, and in the ELV room, he plugged in his laptop, and those were like the old Cisco switches, right? After that, he plugged in, and he was very happy. I don't need to do anything. I am in the network now. I can do whatever I want. He
I am
ran a
OSCP
slash.
certified.
I am everything now. I can build my own lab and pass it to a city, right? So basically, he ran a /16 over there. And what happened is when he did the ARP scan for /16 to discover, a live host, it basically broke the network because of the ARP traffic. And when it broke, it just not broke like one or two systems over there. All the systems that were connected via that switch, or all those VLANs that were configured on that switch, all simultaneously went down. And three of them were like the business critical system. And I was like, okay, this is the last day of my job. I need to find something else. Because that's the money making systems, like for the bread and butter systems for the company, and you snatch that bread and butter and throw it in the garbage. So what do you expect?
Sometimes we
Luckily,
don't control our emotions.
yeah. So I was like, and then luckily we reach out the concerned IT teams, and we made up a story. Guys, come on, this system is down. We need to see, maybe there is a vulnerability that got triggered, and that's why it's down. I'm not sure if it's a real attacker or someone from our team. We need to figure out, but we need the device to be up. Luckily, this guys had backups for the system, because a lot of times you will see, not for all systems IT has backup, right? There are some systems that goes missing. Luckily, for these three business critical systems, they had backup, because probably they fall under business critical systems. So it took like around 6 hours to bring it back up, and it took 24 or 48 hours to actually go back and check if there is any financial loss, because one of them was the POS machine.
Okay.
So POS was down, and then I saw on the other side, the dealers and the staff at the concert, they were writing on paper and giving them receipts on paper, and not the computer printed
Same
receipts.
thing happened
So
last year, CrowdStrike issue.
yeah, yeah, correct,
Indigo, yeah.
exactly. Luckily, after 48 hours, when the report came, it's like, yeah, there was no loss. And that just was like, guys, next time be careful. And I, kind of, told my team as well, guys, come on, you can't do that. You can't run a /16. This time we were lucky. Probably God gave us second chance. Next time it won't happen like that. So that time, so basically the learning from this was like, break into small pieces. You have the time. It's not that you don't have the time. You have the time. And if you don't have the time, tell your management, guys, I can't do everything in this, X amount of time period. I need some
True.
time, because
True.
we need to also take care of the CIA factor here, especially the A, right? So availability. So, and I'm sure like most of those management, if you explain them in proper way, like I think they won't deny, right? Nobody wants system to be down, and break it into small chunks. Like you don't need /16, go to
Do
/24,
in
/24,
phases. We can
yeah,
do in
/20.
phases. Yeah.
And another best way to do that is, if you don't even want to go that, even if you think like /24 might be also dangerous, identify the type of assets that you have there. And if that assets have certain models, for example, CCTV camera, there are multiple models for the CCTV camera. One is HD, one is 3D, one is Super HD, whatnot, right? Identify each unique type of that particular asset.
Hmm.
Take five devices from all those VLANs, from all those asset lists, and
Hmm.
keep the rest. Here you are testing everything, and whatever you identify on those, make sure you inform your IT team to apply the fix on all. Because if one is vulnerable, usually all is vulnerable, because
Exactly. Because
when
configuration management are same.
correct, yeah, patch applies to all, not just one
Hmm.
particular asset.
Hmm.
And do that. That helps you to keep your availability all time high.
True.
Yeah, and this is something very important when you're doing some kind of in-house activity, especially when you have to take care of the availability part. And that's what we do. Like I, categorize, we have a lot of categories. We break it into pieces, and we take those categories all the time. And let's say, for example, if you took 10.0.0.1 to
Hmm.
0.5 last time,
Hmm. Hmm.
next time when you go back again, do from 6 to 10. So no need to test the same devices again. So you might find, and you can also cross-check when you do that. Hey, last time you said like you patched all those findings we reported, but this time why I see this? So that means your patch management is problem. Go and improve now patch management. You might also see some other issues. And
Hmm.
do things by small chunk, but it's effective, it's productive, and at the same time you keep availability, and you can also check certain things that you may not have thought of. Patch management process, so any other XYZ process that you may encounter in that. And this gives you a whole clear picture, like a 360
Agree.
picture. At least try to cover that 360 with.
Excellent. That
Yeah.
is a very great insight, actually, Sarang. And I have searching for some of the content around this area. I have not seen anyone has covered with that kind of a practical insight, and
Hmm.
really, really commendable, to be frank.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you.
I got my future content. Definitely, I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
And I was not touching red team, like it's this year only that and I'm doing a podcast on red teaming and all that. And glad, this is the first podcast where I'm getting those technical insights. See,
Hmm.
I'm not into red teaming. Initially I was pen tester, then I moved to
Hmm.
SOC, and then I become a consultant now, trainer and
Yeah.
consultant. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
something is fascinating me. Pen testing was static, but this kind of issues are very dynamic in nature. And hats off to you guys.
Correct.
How you handle these things. Commendable, to be frank.
Yeah. And I think again, like another thing to remember is like once you know your network architecture, I think
Hmm.
once it's here, everything is easy.
Okay.
That's the foundation. And that's the base, basically. Because if you don't know your network, how will you know what you're doing, right? So take a blueprint of your network architecture.
That's the
You
most
should
important
know.
part.
Yeah, like, okay, this system is connecting to there. That means if something happens here, that's gonna go down. I mean, you should talk to yourself and visualize things. And once you can do that, I think everything else pretty much falls very easy. Another thing, another thing to add on that is like if you sit with your IT network team basically and say, okay, guys, can I have a read-only access on the firewall?
Hmm.
And if you could, map your HLD or LLD or HLD with those, access lists in the firewall, you get actuals and factuals. You can say, oh, this is by design. It should be like this, isolated. But in the firewall, I see there is a any rule from this. Why is it like that? And you can
Hmm.
immediately ask your team member, can you go to this department, this system, and try to access this? Bam.
Okay. Oh,
You don't need fancy things. You can just use
exactly.
the traditional thing, just use it smartly. And
And Sarang, when you're talking about how, the way you started a journey, like,
mhm,
if you're talking about, I'm not talking about Gen Zs,
mhm,
we have started from a basics, right?
very
You get
basic.
into the IT, how the IT works, you get the
Yeah,
clarity about DORA, DNS and all that. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's how you're able to do your things better.
Correct,
But if you talk
correct.
about the modern Gen Zs and all that, they just follow some YouTube videos,
Yeah.
following a tool. Now, if I just crop they just 10 minutes back, the topic which is talking about automation and all that, if I just crop that video and
Mm-hmm,
make it on a YouTube, how to automate the red teaming, that
mm-hmm,
have a more views, because that is
mm-hmm.
a shortcut which
Correct.
people are look. And that is the reason I, sorry for interrupt here, is that's the reason I
Mm-hmm,
said, the basics are important, the way you said,
correct.
you know not
Mhm.
so you don't need to go for fancy tool. If you clear with the
Correct.
concepts, if you know the things how it works, then it is easy for people to exploit.
Correct. And at the end of the day, the objective should be very simple that you need to protect your organization. Don't go with an objective of I need to have do some political things and fight with blue team and do this and
uh,
do that.
uh,
Because
uh,
if you do that, you're diverting your, whole exercise
Agenda,
and,
agenda
agenda
exercise,
and
yeah.
everything. If your goal is very simple,
uh,
all of us, be an enabler, don't be a blocker, right? That's what we say
exactly.
as an
Security is all about
information.
enable.
Yeah, you can't, block and do stuff. I think just go and say, guys, come on, this is bad. Someone outsider, if he infiltrates, we are doomed. Let me do it.
Hmm.
I'll show you the picture and we can fix it together. And
Agree.
and, and do those things accordingly. Yeah.
That's true.
Think and also like do layered approach. I mean, again, we can go back to basics. OSI reference module.
Hmm.
Put that chart in front of you. Make sure that okay, I'm testing router. Okay, is this layer
Network
complete?
layer.
Okay, network complete. Is transport complete? Is application
Excellent.
complete? Map it back. It's so easy. It's foundation. It's all foundational
But
knowledge that you
but today kid don't know OSI model, as you know that,
have. You seen the meme when the guy instead of walking step one, he will just put the step on the last step.
exactly, certification and skill degree, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
that's the
happening.
meme. Yeah, that's what happening. So you just download anything from GitHub, a lot of tools, just
Hmm.
double click. I don't know what's happening in the background, but it's giving me my result. So you take my
Excellent.
data. Eh, that's what happening. So, but people don't
We call them
understand like,
script kiddies, right?
yeah, correct, correct. Script kiddies. I mean, Um, you can a script kiddie if you know what you're doing, right? I mean, if you
Hmm.
say, okay, I don't know how to write my code, but I can
Hmm.
verify the code before running something which is available, readily available. It's still
Hmm.
okay. Be that type of script kiddie rather than just blindly downloading, running something. I don't understand your, and you just find one vulnerability and say, I have fixed this application, tested this application. Don't be like that.
Hmm.
Don't just be like that. Just make sure you take the foundations, you take the basics in front of you. Again, go back when it comes to whether what severity or what rating you wanna,
Hmm.
rate your finding. Again, stride and dread, map it back. It's very simple
Simple.
framework. Or go back to you have the OS risk calculator as well. Just put your data, input your
CVSS and all
data.
that.
It
Yeah.
will it will give
It
you
will
the
give a
final
base score,
result.
environmental score, and
Everything.
temporal score.
So you really don't need to find something hanky panky and then something very heavy. Just just use those traditional stuff, right?
Hacker behind the laptop.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, because ultimately these tools are, I mean, this should be the mindset as well, because
Hmm.
ultimately, whatever script tool
Securing the
that you are
organization.
running, it is actually calling a certain command that is already present in your operating system.
Hmm.
If you are trying to fix something, it will not go above 7 layers. There is no 8 layer, right? There is only 7 layers. So it has to be in that 7 layer. If you talk
Agree.
about dread stride, it has to be among something among that. It can't go, your CV score cannot be 11. So,
Exactly. It's
so,
not go beyond
so
10. Yeah.
it is this foundation. If your foundation is clear, I think sometimes even without those heavy tools, you will be able to achieve your target and
That's why I
able
heard
to
about in APT
fix it.
also they're using the internal admin tools to perform the pen testing. Like, sorry,
Correct.
lateral movements.
Recently, I mean, I don't know, it was this POC was kind of viral on LinkedIn as well. Uh, Someone just posted a POC of dumping the LSAS, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
And it was CrowdStrike, I mean, which is one of the best EDR. He did
Yep.
nothing. He downloaded the process, the proc tools, and he just right click on it and dump from memory
Hmm.
and done. And it's a normal process. So it's not even something malicious. So again, it maps back to what I said. Everything is available in your system. You just need to know how to use it smartly. That's it. And map it back to the foundational, which is the core, right? Core standards.
And that's why we say, like, stick to the basics, get
Yeah,
hands dirty on that, and then
correct,
slowly move further for the other part of
correct,
things. And that is the
correct.
reason, Sarang, I have a next question for this. I'm sorry for that, asking too many
Yeah.
questions. There's a lot of resources are available to become a pen tester and all that. But if I
Hmm.
talk about how to become a red teamer,
Hmm.
before that, I want to understand one thing. If I'm doing a
Hmm.
vlogging,
Hmm.
vlog and all that, day in a
Uh-huh.
life of a day in a life
Blogger.
of a red teamer. So I don't want to say, okay, you wake up and you went to restroom and all that, but what is
Uh,
a day in a life of a red teamer?
Day in the life of a red teamer.
Yeah.
Uh,
They
Dream
wear, they wear
about
hoodies. They wear hoodies.
only in movies.
Okay. A good hacker is the one who leave traces. A great hacker is the one who doesn't leave traces.
Yeah. So go there like a boss. Why you need to
Hmm.
go like a thief?
Hmm. Hmm.
Impersonate a cop, not a thief. Less
Yeah.
people will judge you.
You don't need to
So,
demonstrate.
yeah. So basically, yeah, I think, uh,
It's same like going to the in-laws house.
yeah,
Be silent, stealth.
yeah, be silent. Yeah. Say, all okay. Everything's good. I'm fit. I'm fine. Everything under control. And
Everything
then
under
start
control.
taking control from there.
Internal threat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is exactly the day in the life of
Okay.
a red teamer? Yeah.
Day in a life of red teamer. I mean, wake up I mean, whole night dream about how you can get inside by using,
Hmm.
those
Great
ways,
point.
right? Think of always keep on brainstorming. I mean, you don't necessarily sometimes need to ask question directly to someone, but like,
Hmm.
okay, for example, if I'm talking to a guy who is good in systems,
Hmm.
ask him the question in a way that will answer your question and you
Okay.
can map it back. Take inputs from different people, talk a lot, brainstorm, right? And keep on collecting those ideas. Refer to some, good resources out there, right? That are there, like for example, you know, the those hack tricks and all those. Yeah, they have a lot of test cases and all. Try to see if you can leverage those commands. use it in your scenario. Understand your network if there is, and keep a close eye on if there is any network change or if there is any addition of new asset. Um, if certain technology changes, is there any 0 day that is affecting your tools, technologies, product that you use in your organization? So you have to be just like one step ahead. As soon as you see certain things on any channel, any trusted channel, don't wait for something to be released officially. Go back and check it. Make sure you're always on top of something, all of those things basically. So I think if you are able to do it, and if follow all those trends and these security system updates, network updates continuously, I think that can make your life better as a red teamer, because
Okay.
you are up to date, right? You are up to date. You know what's there. You know what's not there. You have more insights than anybody else in the company. How
True.
to break in, how to patch. Because as a red teamer, like I said again, you also have, how ways to breach. You know how, different exploits. Sometimes, you can also craft your own scripts tools, right?
True.
You can also, if worst case scenario, if you're working in a startup where everything is one man show, you also know how to patch stuff, because you
True.
know the remediation. You are the one to give them remediation, so you definitely just go there and follow those steps, and this is how it's going to patch. So you are basically one of those key persons. So that's why, don't try to limit your role. Step into everybody's role and try to see from their angle as well. And once you sit in a network angle, system angle, software developer angle, blue team angle, plus your red team pen testing angle, that's when everything you do can be complete. Otherwise, there will always be some kind of loophole that you will be
Hmm.
keeping it open, right? This is very important, what I see. And
And
this is
and
what
and and how? So yeah, go ahead. Sorry. There was some latency. Yeah, you're saying
yeah.
something
So
sudden.
yeah, so I think this is the life or daily thought process. And this is even if you're having a coffee or dinner with your girlfriend, even if she's saying whole day, I did this, but in your mind it should be, what happened to that server? What happened? Is there any new I mean, it's like this. It's always should be running in your mind. I think
Hmm.
that's the life of a red teamer.
Red teamer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But how we plan a day? Example, like if I like I'm going to the organization. I'm going to the office.
Hmm.
The things have started with meetings and we have a fixed project and all that. So it's not something okay. Entire day we involved in doing a testing and all that. So how do you see the day of red teamer from that
Okay, I
perspective?
mean, okay, so from that perspective, basically, you see, you don't run red team engagement like on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
It's probably
Today, well,
once
let's
or
break it.
yeah,
Today, well, let's
it's
break it.
probably it's
This guy
probably
is this guy look very happy. Let's
yeah.
penetrate the into the hardware.
Yeah. So basically, it's not something that we do every day, maybe once or twice a year, right?
Hmm.
Because it's enough for, especially if you're working in a big organization. Even two red teamings are already too much, because it takes a lot of time and effort for even IT teams to actually go and address those issues, right? So um, I would say, okay, personally, I would say on a daily basis, you are more of a
Hmm.
pen tester, because you're testing applications that are, subject to go live, and um, maybe some, audit is coming, compliance, regulatory requirements are there. So on a daily basis, you are red teamer, or you're sorry, you are a pen tester.
Pen tester, yeah.
Yeah. But when this period starts, when it's like goal is to get the domain admin or get into the CEO's system workstation, that's the only period you actually are a red teamer. I mean, this would be my realistic definition of a red teamer and pen
Okay.
tester in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
mean like, every day we go to the office, we do research around things and
Correct.
we are part of
Correct.
some assignments and we do this. So if someone is saying nowadays, okay, we did the 30 assignment, 40 assignments in a year, it's like a bluff then. Because it's not possible.
Yeah. It is not possible. You can't do 30, 40 assignment, man. Like, no, you can't. And
Hmm.
if you need to do 30, 40 assignments, that means you're just doing assignment on the same target which you failed to patch. So why you're doing it? Then go on, hack the box, hack that
Vulnerability
machine
reuse
as many
attack.
times, as many times that you want to. No problem. It's always gonna be vulnerable. So
Glad we have this podcast.
you can't do 30, 40
It
assignments
was
like
a
in a
serious topic and we made it in a different way.
I mean,
Thanks,
if you
thanks,
love to
Sarang.
hack, if you love to hack, I mean, of course, I understand the feeling when you get that, reverse shell.
Hmm.
I know that feeling. I also want to repeat that 10 times and, like, yes, reverse shell. But
Hmm.
that doesn't mean that you will go and jump on same target 30 times and tell your, management, I did 30 exercises this year. That's a waste of time.
You can demonstrate this in the month of February when you have a March appraisal waiting.
Yeah, correct.
But glad we had that discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, be precise. Like I said, be precise. You know what you want, and you know what you want to
Exactly.
do, and you know where the loopholes are. And your management is not stupid, right? They know everything.
True,
So
true.
they know what you're bluffing when you're not. So just be real. I think the more real you are, I think the more they will trust you and respect you. And
I
then
agree.
yeah, you should be able to achieve your objective as well.
I agree. I agree. And with the follow-up question, Sarang, I have a, I'm sorry.
No worries, take
I
it.
know we have discussed about 60 minutes, but it's getting
Yeah, it's
extended.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So if someone want to become a red teamer,
Mm,
okay, what should be the ideal process? And see, my podcast, you know, the viewerships is basically combination of two categories. One who basically are beginners,
mhm.
and beginners also, some have a limited budget. They are
Yeah.
okay. Second is basically, I want to be very upfront
Hmm.
with you. So second is basically okay. They have a budget. They can able to see that.
Hmm.
So and the second part is basically they already have a great time in security. They want to move to red teaming and all that.
Hmm.
So how to make a career, step by step process. If you talk about in 5 minutes,
Hmm.
simple to the point with a limited budget, how to make a career in red teaming.
I think, I mean, at least in my knowledge, I haven't seen something, a job related to red teamer as a fresher. I think
Exactly,
you first start
exactly.
your career as a pen tester,
Great.
right? You can pick up one skill, for example, web application.
Hmm.
Start with that. And of course, when
Hmm.
you start with that, get your proficiency in that, slowly jump into networks and everything. And once you have like at least 3 years of experience as a pen tester,
Hmm.
you can then, you have all the knowledge because the tools techniques that you use is all the same that you use in, in pen testing. Yeah, maybe some C2s and something, these are additions when it comes to red teaming. But,
Hmm.
exploiting or identifying issues, you pretty much use the same utilities.
Hmm.
And in your pen testing journey, when learn OSCP and all those things, and especially for the people who can't afford OSCP or their company doesn't sponsor OSCP or any of these kind of expensive certification, jump on Hack the Box, try Hack Me. They
True.
have nowadays they have like really good labs that
And I
also
got a very
talks
good
about
review about their CPTS is better than OSCP. Might be I'm wrong, but
really good, really
yeah.
good, like really good. You will end up scratching your head, okay, how can I get into that? And when you talk in the forums, discussion chats, and when people will try to help you, you will find out there are so many different ways and so many different tools, techniques on the internet that you probably didn't even search on Google,
True.
right? And then that's when you start to use those free resources and upgrade, and upskill yourself, right? And now, with AI and all these things now upcoming, they have also something like, I guess, some AI red teaming kind of certifications, I guess, that
Hack
are
the
coming.
boss.
I think, yeah, correct. They teach about how, how can you use LLM and all those stuff. I haven't, did a full research on that, but
Hmm.
probably sometime end of this year, I would, go and look into it. But yeah, you use this try hack me, hack the box. I think that will pretty much give you all the knowledge that you need. And yeah, I mean, certification wise, if you can't afford OSCP, I would say go for CRT or CRTP. Is comparatively really cheap. And
Hmm.
also the content is really, really good. And also in most of the red team engagement, you will use the same scripts provided by, CRT or CRTP to,
True.
execute on your client target. So because AD, Power View, Power Up, and all those, these are all coming from CRT or CRTP, those certifications.
True.
Yeah. So that's how pretty much you could, get into red teaming.
And how to get a first job? How to crack a first job in pen testing? Do you have any recommend? Do you have any thoughts on that area?
Uh,
Because if you compare the jobs market of cybersecurity, now we have a two
mhm,
type of people who getting into
mhm,
the cyber. One is someone saw Sarang progress
mhm,
and he
mhm,
jumped into the cyber.
Hmm.
He making good money. Let me enter also into cyber, and one is join with a passion. I
Yeah,
want to be very upfront with that. I'm sure you have seen also the okay, okay, okay. This guy have iPhone now, yeah, and I'm sure he minting a lot of dollars. So definitely, there's a good money in cyber. No one talk about the other part. So
correct.
if you're talking about from a seriousness perspective, the competition is very high.
Mm,
Now it's not something we can say scarcity and all that. There's a
mm,
huge CVs are flooded in the market and all that.
correct.
How can I crack the first interview, or how can I get the first call on pen testing? Yeah.
Okay. So I think keep your basics foundation knowledge really strong,
Hmm.
right? So that's something very important and very critical, not
What is the
just for your
definition
first
of
job.
that? What is the
Uh,
definition of the
like
basics? Yeah.
like we discussed in our previous, I mean, few minutes back, like keep OSC, I mean, sorry, the OSI and all those layers
Good.
knowledge always. It should be on the tip of your tongue, right? You should know all these things. And like I said, pick one skill. You can simply tell the interviewer, hey, I am fresher, but you can ask me questions around web application because that's something I can practice. I have been practicing on these free websites like Hack the Box or Try Hack Me or whatever. Um, and I don't have, the facility for, doing some kind of network test. So, but I'm sure I have the basic knowledge. I know how to use Metasploit. I know how to use Nessus to identify vulnerabilities. Uh, so I can learn if given an opportunity, and then tell them all about OS top 10, all those things. Pick an example, right? Pick an example if you ever get into it. Pick an example and try to explain them. And if you want a more realistic example, pick one example from the Hack the Boss lab that you did, right?
Great.
Pick it up, explain them everything. Be detailed and be technical because it's your first job, so you need to be technical, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so take the names of the payload. If you can speak, if the payload is not too lengthy, you can, say it out. Hey, put the, script tag with alert one, all those things, and fine, I access it. Then we know, like, okay, this particular candidate has really done the homework, and we can give him a chance. If you say, no, I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, everybody's passionate, everybody's enthusiastic, everybody wants to, get into this, like you mentioned, right? I want to do this because I see those, flashy things there, that side. So, but the more technical you are, and the more you showcase your foundation is clear, I think it should be very easy for you to land up in the job, in your first job.
Okay. And that's the reason we
And
say, no, no, market which having 100 CV saying I know hacking, but only
yeah,
10 with the proof, be the proof.
correct, correct. And I think, especially for red teaming pen testing, back
Hmm.
10, 15 years back, it used to be CEH standard, right? No offense against CEH, right? But now it has turned to OSCP somehow. I mean, that's the new baseline.
Okay.
I
But
mean,
but
this is,
it's also wrong, right? Like, they made a
I
buzzword
know,
around, okay, you need to
true.
have OACP and
True, true. I mean, like I said, if you practice enough on Hack the Box, you're already,
yeah.
putting yourself on that level. But because of marketing and, all those things, now they're trying to replace that standard. And I think pretty much they're successful in their marketing campaign of
Yeah.
saying OSCP is the new CEH, right? So they're setting up that bar and benchmark. But
Agree.
I mean, if it comes to me, if I see the potential in candidate and if he's aware, I usually don't see certifications and all those stuff. I
Hmm.
don't even see academics, college degree unless HR tells me, hey, why you didn't see that? But um, I will hire a candidate always like as long as he knows what he's doing, right? And he tells me honestly, okay, this is what I'm good at, and this is what I'm willing to learn, and this is what I
Hmm.
don't know. If he
Okay.
is clear, I think, and also it's like the positive attitude. How positive is it? Like if somebody is willing to listen and learn, I think that acts as a big plus as well because it changes
Okay.
the perception of the interviewer as well. Like, okay, he's willing to learn, and I can see that he's positive, he's listening.
We
So
can
that's
spend
good.
less time on him. We don't
Correct,
need to spend too much time on that person.
correct, correct.
Hmm.
If I tell him something to do, he will go back and do his research and come back to me. I don't need to, take the hammer and always follow, follow, follow. Yeah. So that's also, these are some, side dishes that serves well.
But Sarang, how you validate that? No, he's a person who have a good learning skills and all that in
Uh,
interview.
yeah, I think one is this theory part, which we
Hmm.
just discussed. Second is usually what I used to do is like take a lab from, Hack the Box, make sure
Hmm.
that that hack the box does not have any solution available on internet, that particular lab,
Hmm. Hmm.
and ask them to solve it. Give
Oh,
them,
so you mean to say that in the interviews they ask, there is a
yeah,
possibility they can give you the
there is
try hacking and
possibility.
they.
Yeah, a lot of companies in Southeast Asia here, they will,
Hmm.
fire up a hack the box or something like that, a lab, and say,
Hmm.
okay, do it. And they will make sure that that lab solution is not available on the internet.
So you cannot simply say in an interview, okay, so this is how I put the Metasploit
Yeah,
and this is how I exploit
correct,
and all that. Yeah.
correct. Make
So
it. And then,
storytelling will not work there.
correct. And ask them to prepare a small report. Tell us, how did you identify? Put screenshots. So it's like
Hmm.
same thing, similar format like OSCP, right? Give you lab and then you crack it
Exactly.
and then
Prepare the
put the report,
reports.
something similar. And of
Hmm.
course, if it's like a 1 year experience guy or fresher, don't give
Hmm.
them like a super hard lab. Be nice to them. Give them easy lab. Don't give super easy, but give them easy lab, because
Hmm.
easy for them is actually medium, right? Because they haven't
True.
worked in the industry. So be fair to be in fairness. So give them easy lab. If it's like 2 years experience guy, give him a medium lab. If it's like 4+ years of experience, give him a hard lab. So you can define that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sarang, you said about, okay, so we discussed about, this is the last question, Sarang.
Otherwise,
So we have discussed around, how to prepare for interview and all that. But the first thing is that how to get a first call.
uh,
What is the
I
way,
think
what is the technique we can use to get the first call or get the first crack? Okay, I'm waiting for the interview call, fine, but how to get that interview call? I
I
prepare
can
CV and everything, and yeah.
I can tell you how I got, right. So
Hmm.
basically, back then I used to do this a lot of research work, like write
Excellent.
security articles on
Hmm.
this forum like Hack in Nine magazines and all, and
Hmm.
do this
Hmm.
bug bounty and
Hmm.
all these things.
And it was a
And
really great time for us, publishing an
yeah,
article on Hacking Nine
correct.
and all that.
And you go back to your family, my name is in the magazine, and then like my father is like, you did good, take 50 rupees and go eat an ice cream. And then I will keep on telling that news for 1 week until they get bored of it. So so basically, I think this is one of the things that you can do, bug bounty, and showcase that on your LinkedIn. Because
Hmm.
the more work you showcase on, use LinkedIn. Don't use LinkedIn for your political or any agenda. Use LinkedIn for work. Keep it professional. Put
And
your
don't use the
skills there.
pictures. Don't use the
Yeah, don't use
pictures,
picture.
please.
Don't put
Yeah.
don't put memes, and don't no need to put any fancy modeling photos on that. All those crap.
Today
Nobody
we
gives
learn
a shit, right?
OSCP.
Yeah. Don't do all that stuff, right? Just showcase your pure skills that you did it from scratch.
Hmm.
Showcase that on your LinkedIn. I'm sure when you post that on LinkedIn, you will get a lot of good reach from a lot of recruiters. I mean, of course, on LinkedIn also, you can see a lot of posts. You can reach out to recruiters, add some, then send some connection requests to recruiters. I mean, I have seen personally, they do accept, and they also want a lot of profiles in their bucket. Or reach out to these consultancies, right? They are also always looking for people, and the background is like they need people, because once they refer people and they get selected, they also get their commission, right? So they want people, so at least they can put your CV in front, right, and get you that interview. I mean, of course, it's up to you now. I mean, how good you are and if you will crack that interview or not, but at least you will end up landing and getting that your interview. So
Hmm.
reach out to these guys, and maybe for a month or so, you can activate your LinkedIn Premium. It gives a little bit boost, I believe. I don't know background, but I think it does somehow.
That is why I'm making a point so that I really like that thing. Because see,
Yeah,
even I tell the same thing to people, your LinkedIn is a net worth. It's all
yes,
about how you use that. And you can start
correct,
tagging the experts and all that in your content work. Might be you will get a call from
correct,
there also.
correct. And then
Because you
you can
guys also looking for
also
the people. Yeah.
correct. And then also you can try to, collaborate with different people which are probably in the same boat as you, right? Collaborate with
Hmm.
them, or maybe say, okay, guys, I have a research or somebody who's working. I see that, okay, your, profile is into this. I want to complete this research paper. You tag along with them, make a research paper together, make your bug bounty program together, work as a team, go to different CTFs, or events, the networking events that happens. Go there, introduce yourself, go find a way, post your CVs, hand over your CVs and all. You might also get a lead from there as well.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
And that is something I like about, if you able to connect those social networks and all that, I think
yeah.
that can be a higher chance instead of
It's
waiting
a
for the call from
powerful tool.
knock.com.
Yeah, it's powerful tool. It's really powerful tool, but you just use it wisely. Don't post crap things on that. Just be very, selective on what you post.
And
Because
that shows
when
the
I see,
maturity also.
yeah, correct. Because sometimes I also do get a lot of messages on LinkedIn. Sir, there is any requirement, blah blah blah, and then I see the profile is liking some political post and all these things. I say, yeah, okay, you go in politics then. Don't come
Hmm.
into this. So I'm more of this. So
The
LinkedIn
focus got changed.
focus. Yeah, you are just browsing LinkedIn for something else. You're not browsing LinkedIn for to get knowledge about your subject or get information about your subject, right? So
And
yeah.
one more important thing, I believe, Sarang, correct me if I'm wrong, you just started a journey. There's no point of posting a picture with your story about how do you started learning in cyber and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, correct. I think you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that because many people, millions of people are doing that, right? So there is
Hmm.
nothing special. Rather, post your, research paper, bug
Research.
bounty things, and all those things, and use these platforms like Hacking Nine magazines and all those, magazines to showcase
Showcase
because
your
they
brand.
will do the proper marketing for you rather than you creating a PDF and posting yourself and doing all those crap using free AI. Don't do that. So
Exactly.
get your marketing through that. It will help you a lot. It will refine your image in a
Agree.
positive way. Yeah.
But thanks, Sarang. It's really a great insight we got, and you will be surprised to know that I got around 37 points from this podcast, and I got a work for next 1 year at least for my red team content. As I said, I will be one of your good student.
Yeah.
Will make you proud. Yeah, from this podcast, I got some lesson learning,
Yeah.
and that shows
Tomorrow.
that you should be grounded. You cannot be have that ego.
No, cannot. Never. Never
I
have that
have a
ego.
governance.
Yeah, never have that ego. I mean, don't fly because there is always plus one, right? There's always
Hmm,
somebody above you, and you don't want the same treatment from that. So no matter how big you are, small you are, just be grounded. I mean, come
that's
on.
great. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
But that- but
Help
but
help
but
others. Help others
help
as much as you
others.
can. Yeah, help
Yeah,
others. It will come back. And don't help others with an expectation it will come back. Just help others. It
help
will come back.
others.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's it. Yeah, nothing is
Yeah,
personal. The data you're testing is not your personal data. Whatever you're testing is not your personal stuff. So help others.
that's true. And I
Yeah.
believe that after when this podcast goes live and all that, I'm sure a lot of people might reach out to you, Sarang. Is it okay? Can I share your LinkedIn profile and description
That's fine.
box?
No
So
worries.
if
No
someone
worries.
has any queries, they can reach out to you directly.
No problem. No problem. I'll help them as much as I can.
Thanks. Thanks. This is the reason, Sarang, I started this podcast to just bridge the gap between the people who are looking for the information and the people who want to share the insights. See, guys,
Hmm.
this is weekend and it's Sunday, and we're recording this afternoon, which is it's a time which people used to give to family, and Sarang has taken out the time for to giving back to community, and Sarang, we really from bottom of my heart, I'm very very happy that you have shared your thoughts, wisdoms on on the red team assessment, which is no one has covered such practical way,
No
and we
worries.
really really thankful seriously,
I'm glad I could help.
and
Even
we
the
will have one more
beginners,
podcast in the
whatever.
future.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely we can. Definitely we can. Uh,
Right.
and again, like I didn't expect because I believe like when I saw message from you, I thought, is it something scam profile AI sending me message? So why
No,
would
no, no,
Prabh send me a
Sarang.
message? Because
No.
because usually he's the guy who probably get thousands of DMs every day. And why would he DMs a person like me? I'm sitting here in the corner of the world, and I was like, no,
No,
he's
no.
real. He's real
No,
profile. I
no,
said, okay.
no, no, Sarang. No one is
Yeah.
perfect, and I don't know this image has. I don't know why people have created this image. I'm a kind of person who want to learn from everyone. We don't know from where we get the source and all that. Even I'm just a 10% of security, and today, you know the story behind this podcast, so I will discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and glad we have we made this.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, happy to share knowledge. Happy to help in future. Also, if you think I could be of any help, reach out to me, and I'll see if I have time, make some time, and again, share some more insights with the community.
And that is what. So, team, do let us know in a comment section what is the next podcast we can do with Sarang. How can we disturb Sarang for the next podcast? Because right now it's recording, so he cannot deny. So it's establishing a non-repudiation, and that's how we applying the security concepts in a real life.
And to
So
gamble.
yeah. So this is all from our side, team, and I'm sure you find this podcast useful. Do let us know in the comment box, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar topic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sarang bhai.
Thank you, Prab.
Take care.
Alrighty, cheers, bye.
Bye.